Romário de Sousa Faria, better known simply as Romário, is one of the most prolific and talented forwards in the history of football. Renowned for his incredible ability to turn games around and his natural goal-scoring instinct. Born on January 29, 1966 in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, Romário is an iconic figure not only for his success on the pitch, but also for the controversy that surrounded him for much of his career. His journey was a fascinating mix of triumph and turmoil. Titles, memorable goals, individual awards, but also scandals, disagreements with managers, and a personal life that drew as much attention as his footballing achievements. Romário grew up in Jacarezinho, a favela in Rio de Janeiro, and from a young age he showed a natural talent for football. His ball skills and goal-scoring ability earned him a chance at Olaria, one of the city's more modest clubs. Soon, his potential caught the attention of scouts from Vasco da Gama, where he took his first steps as a professional. At Vasco da Gama, Romário began to make a name for himself thanks to his goal-scoring prowess and his speed in the box. Between 1985 and 1988, he scored over 50 goals for the club, which attracted the attention of European teams. In 1988, he signed for PSV Eindhoven in the Netherlands, where his meteoric rise continued. PSV Eindhoven was Romário's gateway to European football, and he quickly became the club's main star. During his 5 seasons in the Netherlands, 1988 to 1993, the Brazilian striker scored 96 goals in 107 matches. An astonishing figure that helped him win 3 Eredivisie titles and several individual honors. In this period, Romário not only cemented his reputation as a clinical striker but also began to display his controversial character. Romário de Sousa Faria, in addition to being one of the top goal scorers in football history, was constantly embroiled in controversies that impacted his career both on and off the pitch. His charismatic personality and carefree lifestyle earned him fans, but also caused various conflicts with managers, teammates, and the media. Below, we will delve into some of the major controversies that marked Romário's sporting life, as well as the repercussions these had on his professional trajectory. One of Romário's defining traits. Aside from his goal-scoring talent, was his strong personality and apparent disregard for the rules set by his managers. This led to multiple clashes with key figures in his career, such as Johan Cruyff at Barcelona. Although Romário had a stellar season at the Catalan club, his relationship with Cruyff quickly soured. Cruyff, a proponent of total football and teamwork, grew frustrated with Romário's lack of discipline, as the striker preferred to skip training or request special permission to travel to Brazil. A famous anecdote from his time at Barcelona occurred when Romário asked for 2 extra days off to attend the Rio de Janeiro Carnival. Cruyff, half-jokingly, told him that if he scored 2 goals in the next match, he would grant him the leave. Romário not only delivered, but he scored a hat-trick and flew straight to Brazil. While this story is celebrated and highlights his innate talent on the field, it also reflected Cruyff's discontent with Romário's attitude towards professional commitment. This kind of behavior repeated itself at other clubs and with other managers. At Valencia, for instance, Romário lasted less than a season due to constant conflicts with Luis Aragonés, the manager at the time. The Brazilian was loaned back to Flamengo, but his time in Europe was clearly affected by his tendency to prioritize his personal life and desires over the team's expectations. One of Romário's harshest critics was former Brazil national team manager Zagallo, who had numerous run-ins with the striker throughout his career. Although Romário was crucial in helping Brazil win the 1994 World Cup, Zagallo openly criticized the player's lack of discipline, which created tensions within the national team. On more than one occasion, Romário was accused of favoring nightlife and parties over his commitment to football. His love of partying was no secret. In his biography, Romário admits that he enjoyed Rio de Janeiro's nightlife and that his fondness for going out often impacted his physical form. Even when playing for major teams like Flamengo and Vasco da Gama, it was common to see him at nightclubs or samba festivals. which frequently drew criticism from both the press and his teammates. These off-field distractions affected his performance during crucial moments of his career and raised questions about what he might have achieved had he maintained greater discipline. In 1993, Romário made the leap to one of the biggest clubs in the world, FC Barcelona, under the guidance of the legendary Johan Cruyff. Cruyff saw in Romário the missing piece of his dream team, and the Brazilian did not disappoint. In his first season, 1993 to 1994, Romário was a pure spectacle, scoring 30 goals in 33 matches and helping Barcelona win La Liga. His electrifying style of play, combined with his incredible finishing ability in the box, quickly endeared him to the Barcelona fans. One of the most memorable moments of his time at Barcelona was the hat-trick he scored against Real Madrid in the 5-0 victory at the Camp Nou in 1994. That performance was a masterclass by Romário, particularly for his famous cow-tail trick against Rafael Alcorta before scoring the third goal. However, despite his success on the field, controversy continued to follow Romário. His relationship with Cruyff began to deteriorate due to his lack of discipline off the pitch, his constant trips to Brazil, and his carefree attitude towards training. Nevertheless, he was awarded the FIFA World Player of the Year in 1994, solidifying himself as the best player in the world at that time. The pinnacle of Romário's career came at the 1994 World Cup in the United States. Brazil had not won a World Cup since 1970, and Romário was the key player who helped the Seleção end that drought. Forming a lethal partnership with Bebeto up front, Romário was the leader of the team managed by Carlos Alberto Pereira and scored 5 goals throughout the tournament. The most memorable match was the final against Italy, which ended 0-0 after 120 minutes and was decided by a penalty shootout. Romário scored his penalty, and when Roberto Baggio missed his, Brazil were crowned world champions for the 4th time in their history. Romário was named in the tournament's All-Star team and won the Golden Ball for the best player of the World Cup. The victory in the 1994 World Cup cemented his status as a Brazilian football legend, on par with figures like Pelé and Zico. After his World Cup success, Romário returned to Barcelona, but his relationship with Johan Cruyff was broken. The Brazilian, tired of the tensions with the coach, decided to return to Brazil midway through the 1994-1995 season, signing with Flamengo. This move came as a surprise, as Romário was still one of the best players in the world, but his personal life and lack of interest in maintaining solid professional discipline led him to make that decision. Throughout his career, Romário had numerous clashes with coaches, club officials, and teammates. His off-field lifestyle, love of partying, and disdain for intense training were recurring sources of friction. Even during his time at Flamengo, while he continued to be a prolific goalscorer, rumors of his lack of commitment to the team were constant. One of the most controversial episodes of Romário's career was his exclusion from the Brazilian national team for the 1998 World Cup in France. Despite being one of the main architects of the 1994 title and having an excellent run in the years leading up to the tournament, Romário suffered an injury shortly before the World Cup. Although he was expected to recover in time to play, the coaching staff, led by Zagallo, decided to leave him out of the final squad. Romário never fully accepted this decision. In a memorable press conference, Romário broke down in tears as he claimed that he had done everything possible to be fit and accused the coaching staff of not giving him a fair chance to prove his recovery. This episode marked a turning point in Romário's relationship with the Brazilian national team and left a deep wound in the player, who had always dreamed of participating in another World Cup.
Romário começa a chorar nesse momento, ele não está conseguindo falar, muito emocionado. Ele abriu a entrevista dizendo: "Eu estou muito decepcionado, há 24 horas atrás eu me sentia muito bem, dei uma entrevista coletiva."
Tensions with Zagallo and the leaders of the Brazilian Football Confederation, CBF, persisted for years, and although Romário returned to the national team in some minor competitions, his exclusion from the 1998 World Cup is considered one of the most controversial decisions in Brazilian football history. In fact, it is speculated that the decision was partly political, as the team leaders wanted to avoid potential internal conflicts that could have arisen with a charismatic and controversial figure like Romário. Throughout his career, Romário had several run-ins with the press and legal issues that also affected his image. On more than one occasion, Romário was sued for breach of advertising or commercial contracts, and for legal disputes with former partners in Brazil. Additionally, he was accused multiple times of tax evasion and faced financial problems that extended even after his retirement. Another controversial aspect was his constant clashes with the media. Romário never had a cordial relationship with the press, which he accused of being too intrusive in his personal life. This led to tensions at various points in his career, as the striker did not hesitate to respond with derogatory comments or insults towards journalists who criticized him. This attitude made him a polarizing figure, beloved by fans, but with a difficult relationship with the press and officials. Romário didn't stop at Flamengo. After 2 years with the club, he returned to Europe to play for Valencia CF in Spain's La Liga. However, his stay at the club was brief and tumultuous. He barely played a season and a half before returning once again to Brazil, this time to his former club, Vasco da Gama, where he continued to be a goal-scoring machine. In his second spell at Vasco, Romário continued to shine. In 2000, he led the club to win the Copa Mercosur and the Brazilian League, further cementing his status as a team idol. However, it was also during these years that the off-field controversies and his reputation as a partygoer began to overshadow his achievements on the pitch. In the following years, Romário continued his career in what became a global tour. He played for Fluminense, Al Sadd in Qatar, Miami FC in the United States, Adelaide United in Australia, and other Brazilian clubs. Like a constantly moving football legend point, one of the most debated milestones in Romário's career was his claim of having reached 1,000 goals. Although this figure is disputed, as it included friendly and youth matches in his tally. On May 20, 2007, playing for Vasco da Gama, Romário scored his 1,000th goal in official matches, according to his own count. This moment was celebrated with great enthusiasm in Brazil and around the world, further solidifying his status as one of the greatest goal scorers in football history. After his long career, Romário retired from football in 2009, leaving behind a legacy of over 1,000 goals, according to his own count, and multiple titles, both at club and international level. However, his life didn't end there. Romário took a surprising turn by becoming a politician. He was elected senator for the state of Rio de Janeiro in 2014, and since then has been a significant figure in Brazilian politics, focusing his work on sports and the rights of people with disabilities, inspired by his daughter, who was born with Down syndrome. Romário is, without a doubt, one of the most iconic and complex figures in world football. His ability on the pitch was undeniable, and few players have had the goal-scoring instinct and match-winning ability he possessed. However, his career was also marked by a series of controversies that followed him until the very end. That's all for today. Thank you for watching our video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned for our next exciting content about the world of sports. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave them in the comments. See you next time.